therefore ensure that authorization of internally transferred mitigation outcomes does not weaken Ghana's ability to meet its own climate commitments. We must not sell cheap today what we may need tomorrow to meet our own NDC targets. And Speaker, for the avoidance of doubt, NDC is nationally determined contributions. Speaker, Ghana must also insist on high integrity carbon credits. The global carbon market has suffered credibility challenges because of weak projects, inflated claims, double counting, poor community consultation, and questionable additionality. Ghana must not become a destination for low-quality carbon projects. Every project must demonstrate environmental integrity and transparent benefit sharing. This reassures the posture of government to put communities at the center. Many carbon projects depend on land, forest, farms, and community practices. These are not abstract assets, but rather attributes of communities, farmers, households, traditional authorities, and private sectors. Carbon projects should therefore proceed with proper stakeholder engagement, free and informed local participation, clear grievance mechanisms, and fair benefit sharing. Ghana must build a strong domestic project pipeline. The government should now deliberately prioritize high-impact sectors, be it in renewable energy, methane reduction, landfill gas management, regeneration agriculture, forest restoration, mangrove protection, climate-smart irrigation, public transport, industrial energy efficiency, and water purification. Speaker, these sectors can reduce emissions while solving everyday developmental problems. Our carbon financing should therefore be aligned with Ghana's jobs agenda, food security agenda, energy transition agenda, and local economic development strategy. Speaker, government must build national capacity. Carbon market development requires specialized skills, including project design, carbon accounting, MRFV, legal contracting, Article 6 authorization, registry management, financing, restructuring, and community benefit sharing, among others. So that Ghana should not rely excessively on foreign consultants or consultation. The country must train Ghanaian experts, universities, private firms, district assemblies, NGOs, and financial institutions to participate meaningfully in the market. A National Carbon Finance Academy linked to the Carbon Market Office at the EPA, universities, and the private sector should be institutionalized. So furthermore, we must strengthen the Ghana Carbon Registry. It must accurately and timeously track mitigation activities, issuance, transfers, cancellations, retirement, authorization, and corresponding adjustment. The registry should be digital, transparent, secure, regularly updated, and linked to Ghana's National Greenhouse Gas Inventory and the NDC's accounting system. Government must also improve coordination among the various key sectors involved in the carbon market. The current governance architecture involving the Ministry of Environment, the EPA, the Carbon Market Office, the Inter-Ministerial Committee, the Carbon Market Committee, and the Technical Advisory Committee is important. These institutions must be properly resourced and politically supported to carry out their objective in a coordinated manner. Carbon market decisions should not sit in files for months. Speaker, Ghana must use carbon market to attract investments. The country should welcome credible investors who bring technology, finance, and long-term partnerships, while carefully avoiding projects without sustainable financing, capacity, or implementation plans. In all these, Ghana must show leadership in Africa. With the right reforms, Ghana can become a trusted regional hub for credible carbon assets. We already have a framework for a number of bilateral cooperation arrangements and a growing project pipeline. Speaker, in conclusion, though the carbon credit market offers Ghana an opportunity, it also carries risks. If poorly managed, it can create confusion, speculation, unfair contracts, and loss of national value. If properly governed, it can position Ghana as a leader in Africa's green transition. Our national position should therefore be clear that Ghana is open for carbon market investment, but only on terms that protect environmental integrity, national interests, community rights, and long-term benefits. Speaker, thank you for the treasure space. I'm grateful.
Honourable members, that is the statement ably made by Minority Chief Whip. It's now time for comment. Yes, leadership. How many do we take?
Speaker, it's such an important statement, so we pray that we do 2-2. 2-2. Plus leadership, yes, 2-2.
Yes. Honourable member, you have the floor.
Yeah. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity. I would like to thank the Chief Whip, Honourable Anodompre, for such an important statement. Mr. Speaker, Ghana as a country may be sitting on one of the greatest untapped environmental economic opportunities of our generation. The issue of carbon trading, Mr. Speaker, the framework started way back in 1997 in Kyoto, Japan. That is about 29 years ago. And since then, countries have been benefiting. And we believe Ghana, we have the potential to really benefit as well. Mr. Speaker, per the framework, developing countries such as Ghana, we could conserve land, we could conserve forests, and all vegetation that could absorb greenhouse gases, and through that we could earn some carbon credits. Mr. Speaker, if you bring it to practicality in Ghana, we could have families, we could have schools, we could have other landowners preserving or conserving their lands with either vegetation, wetlands, mangroves, etc., and earn income out of same. So in simple terms, it becomes even much more economical to conserve or preserve your land with vegetation than to destroy it. As we have it now, it is more economical to destroy than to conserve. But Mr. Speaker, this could be turned around such a way that it will be much more economical to actually conserve. We look at the issue of land in Ghana. Now we talk about mining and issues that are destroying the environment. Let's think about it for a minute, that if people could conserve their land and earn credits, and these credits are simply money, if they could conserve their lands and earn money out of same, it will surprise you, Mr. Speaker, how people will show interest in conserving same to earn credits, and by extension, the country benefiting enormously. We've seen places like the Ramsar site at Sakumono. We've seen demolitions going on. This is because the Ramsar site is supposed to be wetlands that is housing wild birds and so on and so forth. Why is it that people are not conserving these lands? Because we struggle to find a meaning. We struggle to find an economic value put to it. But if these frameworks were put into practice, Mr. Speaker, people would not need to struggle to understand these. The government wouldn't have to go in to demolish because the owners themselves will protect these pieces of land because they become economic values. Mr. Speaker, even the issue of flooding, to some extent, if wetlands became so economical, if these frameworks were working, I tell you, people that own wetlands, they will protect them such a way that these will become the sequestration points for water when it's flooding around. So, Mr. Speaker, this is an important statement made by our Chief Whip. What we need now is education because, like I said, this started far back in 1997. But it seems like a lot of people are not even aware. So we need to educate people, the Ministry for Lands and Natural Resources, the environment, EPA, and so on. We need to educate people of the benefits. When people get to know of the benefits, naturally they will come in to work with these principles. And I believe through that, we as a country would benefit enormously. I thank the maker of the statement again. Mr. Speaker, I thank you for the opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, you have the floor.
Mr. Speaker, thank you for the opportunity to contribute to the statement ably made by the most respected Chief Whip, the Honorable Frank Anodompre. Speaker, well said that I truly need to single out the Honorable Member for his continuous and unrelentless effort at coming out with statements that have enormous impact on the sustenance of our environment. Mr. Speaker, I also think that his attempt to give further meaning to NDC, where we know NDC to be National Democratic Congress in this house, strikes me so much. Mr. Speaker, but on a more serious note, the carbon credit market, which is of course a voluntary platform for absolute removal or reduction in greenhouse gases in the atmosphere, should be of concern to all of us. And as a member on your right-hand side, a member of the ruling government, I really want to assure the honorable member that the Minister for Climate Change is up to task, and the creation of that particular ministry is in sync with issues of carbon credit market and its effects and consequence on the environment. Mr. Speaker, in simple terms, the EPA, which is the Environmental Protection Authority, has through at 2025 at 1124 created a platform of robust market for Ghana. And indeed, in line with the Paris Agreement at 6, the Paris Agreement at 6, which has to do with voluntary cooperation with emission. Mr. Speaker, the greenhouse effect, as all of us can see today, is so eminent. If you go to Europe today, most European countries are battling with rise in temperature. Indeed, from Greece to France to whichever. Indeed, in France, just last week, the government had to invest in pumping and spraying people with water in order to reduce their body temperature. Whilst Europe suffers this fate as a result of the greenhouse effect, we in Ghana, after several hours of downpour, which of course is the effect and consequence of the climate change that we're talking about, Speaker, had to battle with flood, and the issue of flood is a common thing to all of us, and its devastating consequences, which government is already trying to cater for. Mr. Speaker, but even as we speak about the carbon credit market. I think that the member has done enormous research and, of course, come out with this meticulous statement. And he has indeed professed some useful point as far as the way forward is concerned. Indeed, if you allow me, Mr. Speaker, he has asked for the strengthening of the Ghana Carbon Credit Registry, which I think is key. He has also asked for a carbon credit market that will give Ghana the opportunity to as it were, attract the needed investment that comes with this package. Mr. Speaker, I thank the honorable maker of the statement, and I pray that government takes all the suggestions in good faith. Thank you.
Yes.
Mr. Speaker, we would like to thank the Honorable Minority Chief Whip for such a brilliant paper and for his efforts at always bringing to the fore the issue of sustainable development. Mr. Speaker, this topic of carbon credits is something that had come up in the last Parliament. Last year we discussed it, and now we are also discussing again. And I believe that this is very relevant because we all know that climate change is present. It's not a future event that we should be expecting. It's something that is happening now. And if you look at all the rains that are falling and the numbers, it clearly shows that as human beings, we need to do something about it. And carbon credit is one key area in solving that problem. Mr. Speaker, we know for a fact that a lot of the industrialized world are the major pollutants of this world. And our ability to absorb the carbon that is generated is key in managing temperatures and the climate effects. Mr. Speaker, I do believe that Ghana also has a unique opportunity to derive so much benefit from the carbon credit that we have already initiated in this country. In fact, Ghana seems to have been one of the first countries in Africa to set up an office and to trade carbon credit. Unfortunately, Mr. Speaker, in our part of the world, virtually all our mining reserves were built under forest reserves. Our mineral reserves are under forest reserves. And over the period, it's becoming more and more difficult to protect these forests. Mr. Speaker, I've said it here before, that it is time that the revenues that we are generating from these carbon credits are physically shared to communities that protect these forest reserves. And in protecting them, we can use these monies to generate the carbon credits that we are talking about. Secondly, Mr. Speaker, there are other areas that we also need to be looking at very seriously. Mr. Speaker, today when we take 1 ton of gold, it will give us over $130 million. The same 1 ton of carbon credits will give us just $1,000. So as a country, we need to ask ourselves, what do we deal with it? How do we deal with it? How do we make sure that we can protect our forests to protect our lives than just letting it go? Mr. Speaker, I've said and said again that in Ghana, we have a huge opportunity to generate revenues from carbon credits because a lot of people have been doing greenwashing, inflating the carbon potential of their projects and using them to raise money. But I believe that we can be able to start regrowing a lot of our degraded lands. In fact, according to the World Economic Forum, when you invest $1, you should get a minimum of $7 from afforestation. all the way to $30. So that is 1:30. So I believe that all our degraded lands, as we speak today, have become money zones if we apply ourselves in replanting them. And I think that it should be easier for us to do so, because if you are only putting $1 and you can get 30, any project definitely is going to be bankable. And I believe that in looking at the disparities between the gold pricing and the carbon credit pricing, with the devastated lands that we now have some money zones that government can apply itself to reinvest in those areas. We know that the ticks that were planted by Bujia in those days were the ticks that President Kufuor's time were harvested by a lot of the timber firms. If we plant now, and we give ourselves even 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, and plant, say, acacia, Mr. Speaker, we should be able to generate so much revenues from these degraded lands for the good of this country. Mr. Speaker, I also do believe that we also have to make it clear to a lot of Ghanaians, and
Yes, Honorable Jolly Gakpe.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for giving me this opportunity. I would like to commend my Honorable Anodompre, Minority Chief Whip, for the Insawam Ajojuri on the carbon credit market, another excellent opportunity for Ghana to get it right. I want to commend my colleague and then the leader for making this statement. This statement is in the right direction. Carbon credit all over the world is an opportunity, it's an investment where country can reap a lot of resources from it. But we need to invest. Carbon dioxide is a food for the trees, and then they also give us oxygen, so it's a two-way affair. As we are talking about carbon credit, we need investment in tree planting, we need to plant trees. And then when more trees we plant, the more emission of carbon dioxide vis-a-vis the greenhouse gas will actually be traded and give us resources for the country. And the countries are going into this. As part of the strategies to actually gain more carbon credit, it is good for us to invest in research also. One of the areas we should be looking at is the research. What are the species of trees that can grow faster than the ordinary ones, which takes almost 5 years, 10 years to mature? Is there any way we have the hybrid system by the researchers where the trees will grow faster, maybe 2 years, 3 years, and then these trees will actually grow and mature, and then as much as we are emitting the greenhouse gases, we are emitting it, the trees will be absorbing it and giving us oxygen vis-a-vis they are using the carbon dioxide. So it is in good direction. Also, we invest in the research system also. As the Minister for Education is right here, we also need to beef up our curriculum. There is a statement that says that catch them young and they will remain yours. We need to actually start from the schools by actually inculcating tree planting activities, teachings with regards to tree planting, how schools can also plant tree and earn a lot of resources from carbon credit in terms of investment in schools. Schools can have farms also. It's an area we can look as a country, give them the right species, the right guidance, and at the end of the day, the investment will be there, and then the school can also benefit from that investment. Another area we should be looking at is in terms of the behavioral change. Nowadays, people cut trees anyhow, and then elsewhere, before you cut tree, you need permission from EPA before you can do that. In Ghana, we have these laws. Are the laws working? Is the District Assembly actually, putting the law into its test, where people just get up and then cut trees without planting any, no permit? This is an area we also need to look as what? We crack the whip, because the laws are there. There is a difference between having the law and the implementation. If we are not implementing the law, how would we achieve this? So we have a lot of opportunity. Our behavior, because the climate change is affecting all of us, and then climate change is becoming an issue, global issue now. And then one of the areas you should be investing in is the tree planting, because it also controls erosion. It's also control in terms of what? Wind and all that. Trees are valuable areas where we invest, that we will serve as a control with regards to that. Mr. Speaker, these are the areas we should be investing as much as possible. At the end of the day, emission of these greenhouse gases will not affect and impact in Ghana so well. Because as I speak to you, look at our coastal belt. A lot of tidal wave issues are there. A lot of environmental issues are there. People are doing this, everything as much as possible, which is not good for the country. But people are cutting trees, doing anything to our trees. A tree, there is a saying that when you cut the last tree, then you mean that the last person will die. So, Mr. Speaker, I would like to thank you very much for the opportunity. In conclusion, I thank the maker of this statement, and this statement should be referred to the appropriate agencies and authorities so that at the end of the day, we take holistic measure in place by investing more into the carbon credit. Thank you very much for the opportunity.
Yes. Honorable Patrick.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity. Mr. Speaker, let me commend the maker of the statement, who has been very consistent with his advocacy, his knowledge, and his passion for the environment. Mr. Speaker, I don't think carbon credits will be given out just for the sake of it. We have to be also environmentally compliant. Benin has succeeded in generating a lot of revenue from this, and I believe that Ghana must take a cue. I have personally sent some proposals to the Ministry of Environment on how Ghana can take advantage of this. I was told Dr. Raymond Atugba was one of the consultants consulting for the EP and the ministry in this regard. Mr. Speaker, carbon credit is a very novel zone or area for Ghana to benefit from cheap facility in terms of raising the adequate revenue or resources for the development of this country. I don't have much to say, but to thank the maker of the statement for bringing this to the fore and commending him to always be up to speed with the happenings within the environmental sector and how it's going to help this country. I thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Oh, there we go.
Yes, leadership, minority. Yes, majority leadership.
Yes, let me thank my brother for bringing this very important, or raising this very important matter once more.
Hello.
Speaker, the essence of the matter is that he canvassed before the floor are very germane, especially in view of the climate changes and the consequences and the global warming and its consequences that we face as a people and as a nation. Speaker, just last weekend, the entire Gulf of Guinea, from Yaoundé to Lagos to Port Novo to Cotonou to Lomé, Accra, Abidjan, Monrovia, Freetown, and Conakry, all these capital cities excuse me, were inundated with rain. It got flooded. And it was interesting that all these 9 capital cities experienced heavy rainfall around the same time, and for the continuous period that they did. And so the question as to how our environmental engineering, management, and policies became topical matters in their respective countries. As we speak, the World Bank is sponsoring the West African Coastal Management Project in Benin and Lomé. And 2 years ago, Ghana benefited. But somehow we couldn't draw down on the facility. It was reinstated last year. And so we are hoping that as a country we'll be able to draw down on this and manage our coastal belts in a manner that would help us to avoid the excessive flooding when the streams and the rivers enters the sea, even during the loss. Speaker, in respect of the carbon credits issue, I recall that last year when he raised the matter, we were encouraged by the Speaker, and I recall that it was my leader who concluded his comments on the statement. He encouraged us that as members of Parliament, we should all go into tree planting and at least develop a wood lot, what we call wood lot. So that, for instance, in South Dine or in Akachi South, there could be a 50-acre wood lot sitting in the name of the Member of Parliament. But it appears that after those comments and those very lofty recommendations were made, as members of Parliament, for want of a better expression, we went to sleep. So his statement today is another wake-up call. And I want to lead the way by going back to my constituency this weekend and taking concrete steps to getting some land and starting with such a project called Woodlot. We'll be able to plant some acreage of green belt. Mr. Speaker, we need it because if I recall accurately, the majority leader indicated that the carbon credit, they have a way of calculating it so that as a nation, when it's properly done, we can benefit from it in terms of seeking for funding and all that. So I would urge the House, this side and his own side, that even if it's not all of us at the same time, some of us can start by way of a pilot. So we can, Kwesibinti, you started last year, that's good. We can copy from you and continue it so that we would, as leaders, as the various political leaders in our constituencies, we can lead by example. And the urban MPs can be spared, but they can also sponsor green belts in the various urban centers to be able to give some effect to the issues that the honorable member raised. So, Mr. Speaker, with these words, I want to thank you and also thank my brother for raising this matter. And Speaker, he also raises it on the floor of Pan-African Parliament. And that is why when he was leaving the Agri Committee, it was with a lot of regret. But he's now the chairman for
Honourable members, we have come to an end of comment to that statement. I have admitted another statement standing in the name of the majority chief whip. The honourable members, in view of the fact that the minister responsible for education is already seated, can we take his question, then we come back to the statement? Honourable members, in doing so, yes, Majority Leader.
Whilst the minister is taking his seat, if we can just let him lay all his documents, Mr. Speaker, because the minister has item 8C about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, about 12 annual statements to lay. So if we can just let him do that before he answers his question.
Maybe you can engage the minority whip so that we take all of
them, yes.
All the papers.
So that he can lay on behalf, of the other ministers as well.
There should be no problem. I think they can proceed.
Very well. Honourable members, we vary the order of business. At commencement of public business, presentation of papers, item numbered 8A, Yes, Majority Leader.
Yes, so the Minister for Education, with your indulgence, will lay 8A on behalf of Minister for the Interior.
Yes, Minister for Education.
Annual statement of the Audit Committee of the Gaming Commission of Ghana for the year ended 31st December 2025.
Honorable members, the annual statement has been duly presented and it is referred to a Committee on Defense and Interior for consideration and report. Item numbered 8B.
Annual statement of the Audit Committee of the Ghana Publishing Company Limited for the year ended 31st December 2025.
Honorable members, the report has been duly presented. It is referred to the Committee on Information and Communication for consideration and reports. Item numbered 8C, and we are taking 8C from I to XI. Minister for Education.
Annual statement of the Audit Committee of the Students' Loan Trust Fund for the year 2025. Annual statement of the Audit Committee of the National Council for Curriculum Assessment for the year 2025. Annual statement by the Audit Committee of the St. Monica's College of Education for the year ended 31st December 2025. Annual statement by the Audit Committee of the University of Business and Integrated Development Studies for the year ended 31st December 2025. Annual statement by the Audit Committee of the Dr. Ila Liman Technical University for the year ended 31st December 2025. Annual statement by the Audit Committee of the University for Development Studies, Tamale, for the year ended 31st December 2025. Annual statement by the Audit Committee of the Nusrat Jahar Ahmadiyya College of Education, for the year ended 31st December 2025. Annual statement by the Audit Committee of the Tamale Technical University for the year ended 31st December 2025. Annual statement by the Audit Committee of the Ghana Tertiary Education Commission for the year ended 31st December 2025. Annual statement by the Audit Committee of the Kumasi Technical University for the year ended 31st December 2025. Annual statement by the Audit Committee of the Adan College of Education for the year ended 31st December 2025.
Honourable members, the papers item 8C I to XI have been duly presented and they are referred to a Committee on Education for consideration and reports. Honourable members, item 8D, we are taking I to V together. Yes, Minister for Education for Minister for Local Government, Chieftaincy and Religious Affairs.
Annual statement of the Audit Committee of the La Dade Kotopon Municipal Assembly for the year ended 31st December 2025. Annual statement of the Audit Committee of the Gan East Municipal Assembly for the year ended 31st December 2025. Annual statement of the Audit Committee of the Nsawam Aduajiri Municipal Assembly for the year ended 31st December 2025. Annual statement of the Audit Committee of the Gang West Municipal Assembly for the year ended 31st December 2025. Annual statement of the Audit Committee of the Asen South District Assembly for the year ended 31st December 2025.
Honourable members, the paper item numbered 8D, I to V, have all been duly presented and they are referred to a Committee on Local Government and Rural Development for consideration and report. Honourable members, we then come back to questions or question time. Honourable members, some questions have been scheduled for the Minister responsible for Education to respond to. He is seated And therefore, without much ado, I call on Honorable Damata Ama Apianima Salam, Member of Parliament for Efijia Kwabre South, to pose question numbered 422.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity. With your permission and pursuant to the order 883, I rise to ask question number 422, standing in the name of Honorable
Please
Ajiada
do
Mata.
go ahead.
Hajiada Mata Apianima Salam. To ask the Education Minister what broader strategies the ministry is adapting to improve the welfare of teachers, particularly those posted in the rural areas. Thank you.
Yes, Honorable Minister.
Mr. Speaker, let me thank you for the opportunity to respond to the question standing in the name of the member for Efijia Kwabre South, Ms. Damata. Mr. Speaker, the Ministry of Education, in collaboration with the Ghana Education Service, is implementing a number of targeted strategies to improve the welfare, motivation, and retention of teachers across the country, particularly those posted to rural and underserved areas. Teacher welfare is positioned as a national priority to strengthen their motivation, dignity, and retention, and for long-term education outcome gains. As part of government efforts to attract, motivate, and retain teachers in deprived and underserved communities, special incentives have been put in place for teachers who accept posting to such areas. Mr. Speaker, I'm happy to note that one of these incentives is a reduction in the number of years required to qualify for study leave. Originally, it was 3 years if you are in a deprived area. We have reduced it now to 2 years. So any person who accepts posting to a rural deprived area after 2 years of service can apply for study leave with pay. We also are engaged in continuous education and capacity building of teachers across the country. In addition, Mr. Speaker, government is committed to roll out a 20% salary we assured for rural posting allowance for teachers serving in rural and deprived areas, and the Ministry of Finance, GS, and the Ministry of Education is working as implementing that. Mr. Speaker, a significant thing that affects the welfare of teachers is their shelter, housing. We are currently engaged in some discussion to deploy the Teacher Dabre initiative of President Mahama, which was in the NDC manifesto, which will provide accommodation for teachers in rural areas to address the housing challenges that often affect teacher deployment and retention in those areas. Under this initiative, deliberate measures are being taken to ensure that the construction of new school facilities is accompanied by teacher accommodation. So this time, we've directed that if contracts are awarded for school blocks, it necessarily must include an accommodation facility for the teacher as part of government effort. Mr. Speaker, the Teacher Dabre initiative is led by the administrator of the District Assembly Common Fund. We want it to be as decentralized as possible. What the government of Ghana through the Ministry of Education will provide would be our pension fund, referred to as GSOP, which currently has about 12 billion standing, that can be used as collateral to roll out the Teacher Dabre initiative. So we are working together. Yesterday, I briefed the Honorable Minister for Works and Housing that we need a joint cabinet memo of the Minister for Finance, Minister for Education, Minister for Works and Housing, and local government to get the roadmap to the implementation of the Teacher Dabre initiative. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Any supplementary question?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I rise to ask Minister for Education how the ministry is collaborating with the local authorities and the government agencies to improve living and working conditions of rural teachers. Thank you.
Yes, Minister.
Mr. Speaker, we are working to improve the condition of teachers across the country. In fact, Mr. Speaker, for the record, this government can be credited with what we call a new scheme of service for officers working under the Ghana Education Service. Mr. Speaker, originally, promotion was tied to office. We have the couple that teachers who have served long will enjoy their promotion regardless whether office was there or not, and it will be supported by accompanying privileges and facilities for them. So we are generally working to improve the welfare of teachers. Currently, the Fair Wages and Salaries Commission is engaged in some negotiation with teacher unions across the country. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Any further question?
No, thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Very well. We move to question numbered 424, standing in the name of Honorable Rafoku Edusei, Member of Parliament for Bekwai.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I rise under Order 88.3. I have the authority by the...
Please do.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise to ask the Minister for Education the rationale behind the reduction in the public school quota for placement in grade A senior high school from 30% to 50% for 2025 BEC candidates, and how this aligns with Article 25(1) of the 1992 Constitution, guaranteeing equal educational opportunities. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Yes, Honorable Minister.
Mr. Speaker, let me thank you for the opportunity to respond to question 424 in the name of Honorable Ralph Pokwe Edusei, member for Bekwai. Mr. Speaker, Article 25(1) of the 1992 Constitution of the Republic of Ghana guarantees that all persons shall have the right to equal educational opportunities and facilities with a view to achieving the full realization of that right. Basic education shall be free, compulsory, and available to all. This constitutional provision underpins government's commitment to ensuring that every Ghanaian child has equitable access to quality basic education, irrespective of socioeconomic background, geographic location, or the type of basic school attended. Mr. Speaker, the placement of candidates into senior high school under the Computerized School Selection and Placement System, the CSSPS, is guided by the principle of fairness, merit, transparency, and equity, while academic performance remains the primary basis for placement. Government also takes into account the need to ensure balanced access to quality secondary education for all categories of learners. Mr. Speaker, for the 2025 placement exercise, a total of 734,382 vacancies were declared across all senior high schools and senior high technical schools and technical and vocational institutions. 70 private senior high schools were included in this year's placement process for the first time, at least to expand access. These private institutions collectively declared 25,500 vacancies. Their strategic inclusion helped ease the congestions in public schools as part of our effort to phase out the double track system. Mr. Speaker, the double track system undoubtedly is affecting the delivery of the quality of secondary education and does not allow for sufficient student-to-people contact, teacher-to-people contact, or teacher-to-learner or student contact. But, Mr. Speaker, historically, there are imbalances in the provision of quality secondary education. You essentially cannot compare the quality of Achimota or Wesley Girls to maybe Buaku Secondary School or Bunkurugu Yonyo Primary School. That is a fact of a historical imbalance in the provision of adequate, equitable secondary education facility. But, Mr. Speaker, there remains a strong bias towards Category A schools, with 65%, 393,593 of candidates choosing them as their first choice. So you have Category A. Every parent, every student wants a Category A school, yet available vacancies is only 76,537. So it means of the 393,000, we are likely to disappoint 200,000 of those applicants. Not the doing of government, because we have not sufficiently provided for adequate infrastructure for the senior high schools across the country. A significant cost of placement challenge each year. Mr. Speaker, approximately 141,637 students choose Category B schools as their first choice, despite the available capacity of about 32.5%, which is around 284,607 of the total vacancies. However, Category C schools represent over half, 53% of total vacancies, and only 68,509 students select Category school. So, Mr. Speaker, every student wants a Category A school, or at worst, under the circumstance, a Category B schools. Mr. Speaker, that is why we designed the Star J initiative, which I reported here, Mr. Speaker, at my last appearance, that the World Bank is supporting us with $300 million to build at least 10 new senior high schools across the country, including technical and vocational institutions. We will also retool and re-equip and rehabilitate about 150 secondary schools across the country. That I'm awaiting the Minister of Finance, then we get a joint cabinet memo and work it back to Parliament for Parliament consideration. Mr. Speaker, free senior high school education policy on placement, especially for elite school, stipulates that 30% of the declared vacancies in Category A. So now we are saying that even the community where the school is, they must have room to support students from that particular area. This is part of our affirmative action policy. Mr. Speaker, the opportunity for senior high school has expanded highly in Ghana. An analysis of the 2025 computerized school selection and placement system outcomes indicate that the policy objective was substantially achieved. And indeed, 123,309 candidates were placed in Category A senior high schools. 71,406 were graduates of public basic schools, representing 57.91% of total placement, while 51,000 graduates of private basic schools accounted for 42%. These results, Mr. Speaker, demonstrates that the placement exercise not only met the policy requirement of reserving at least 30% of vacancies for public basic school graduates, but it significantly surpassed it. Public basic school graduates received nearly 6 out of every 10 placements in all Category A schools across the country, reflecting the effective implementation of the affirmative action provision. Mr. Speaker, we are currently revising the CSSPS so that we have an improved portal to allow for more transparency and equity in it. But the truth is, if we want to do it right, we must expand and invest more in the infrastructure of secondary schools across the country. Both dormitories and classrooms will have to be provided for. I thank you.
Any supplementary question?
No, Mr. Speaker, thank you.
Yes.
Speaker, thank you very much. Mr. Minister, from your answer to the question on equipping the 150 schools, you say you have $300 million from the World Bank to equip 150 schools. Is it your case that the mere provision of the equipment to the schools will raise the schools to Category A school? If not, what do you think will make a Category C school achieve the status of a Category A school? Thank you.
Yes, Minister.
Mr. Speaker, Ministry of Education and GES, if you want to expand access to senior secondary education, we must do it right with accompanied infrastructure development. Mr. Speaker, the free senior high school was introduced 2017-2018, but unaccompanied by commensurate infrastructure support over the 8-year period. We simply didn't invest in infrastructure in the schools. Mr. Speaker, Mr. Speaker, Mr. Speaker, Mr. Speaker, we simply did not, I choose my words carefully, commensurate infrastructure. If you had a school which admitted 2,400, the school today is 4,500 with the same boarding facility, the same lecture theater, what do you expect that school to do? So this is not Harun Idrisu, Minister for Education. Yet a worthy initiative, transformative initiative, but you did not accompany it with commensurate infrastructure of classrooms and dormitories. I stand by it today and tomorrow. That is a fact. You didn't. That is why this government is correcting it. President Mahama have authorized the Minister for Finance and the World Bank only 3 weeks ago approved the $300 million facility, the StarJ program, to expand infrastructure in secondary schools across the country. Mr. Speaker, sooner than later, the advert will be out and the procurement processes will accompany it to expand the infrastructure. Some of our colleagues in this chamber will benefit from those interventions, either by way of new school block or a rehabilitation and or equipping and retooling of their infrastructure. I thank you.
Honourable members, let's move to question number 479, standing in the name of Honourable Fred Chea Asamoah, Member of Parliament for Ofinsu North.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity to ask a question that I filed exactly a year ago. I filed this question on the 2nd of July 2025, and I'm happy to be given the opportunity to ask the question today. So I asked the Minister for Education to clarify why 22 institutions have been deemed ineligible for national service by GTEC, and what step the ministry is implementing to support the students of the said institutions.
Yes, Honourable Minister.
Mr. Speaker, let me thank you for the opportunity to respond to the Honourable Dr. Fred Chea Asamoah. Mr. Speaker, the Ghana Tertiary Education Commission is established by the Education Regulatory Bodies Act 2020, Act 1023, as the sole agency regulating all tertiary education institutions in Ghana. Its mandate is to regulate, assure quality, and shape a world-class tertiary education system that responds to national needs and global standards. It remains resolute in safeguarding academic credibility, strengthening institutional accountability, and expanding equitable access to relevant high-quality education. Mr. Speaker, the students who graduate from unaccredited institutions are not allowed to do national service according to GTEC and the National Service Authority. However, the ministry, through the Ghana Tertiary Education Commission, has resolved the situation by ensuring that all institutions have been duly accredited and their graduates enrolled onto the National Service Scheme. So simply, Mr. Speaker, at the time that GTEC declared them unaccredited institutions, we could not give legitimacy to their students doing national service. Once you are not accredited, you are not accredited. We must ensure fidelity and respect to the laws of Ghana. I thank you.
Any supplementary question?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'd like to follow up. The minister just said that the issues have been resolved. So if these issues have been resolved and fixed, how does the minister explain GTEC's own notice? Just 2 months ago, GTEC notified this nation that additional 60 institutions are unrecognized and unaccredited. So this question that I asked a year ago, It's being accepted today.
Honorable
that
member asks supplementary question.
So I would like to ask the minister why additional sister institutions are being flagged by the GTEC if these issues have been resolved.
Yes.
Speaker, those institutions have not met the minimum accreditation requirements of GTEC, and GTEC is the regulatory body. They are accordingly required to enforce strictly, because if accreditation fails, the quality of our graduates will limp, Mr. Speaker. And therefore, we fully support GTEC in what they are doing. If you go through, there's course accreditation and there's institutional accreditation. What we expect institutions to do, particularly many of the private institutions, they just in breach, don't respect the requirement of GTEC. And I think that the Director General is up to the task. He is fully enforcing it. Minister, my work is policy. Regulation is that of GTEC, and he's doing it according to his mandate. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Any further question?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The minister in his answer mentioned public caution to students and parents, even though additional institutions...
Honorable Chair Asamoah asks supplementary question.
So my question to the minister is that beyond the public caution, what structural changes has the ministry made so that we can avoid these additional unaccredited
Honorable
institutions?
Minister.
Mr. Speaker, is anybody desirous of establishing an institution of higher learning, particularly private, must endeavor to respect Act 1023, respond to the minimum standard required for accreditation, both courses and institutional, by GTEC. GTEC will thoroughly examine it, and where necessary, they will grant the particular accreditation. Mr. Speaker, only last week, I had the ambassador of Cyprus resident in Nigeria who came into caution about some institutions of higher learning between the borders of Turkey and Cyprus, and the confusion of Ghanaian students having access to those institutions without clarity from the Cyprus government. And they raised objection that the government of Ghana must provide such clarity, what to do. So apart from the public caution, we should stay to the standards of accreditation. Mr. Speaker, he can learn from the professor in front of him who used to chair the National Accreditation Board. No compromise if you don't meet minimum requirements for accreditation. Whether course or institution, it must be strictly enforced by GTEC, and that they will do. I thank you.
Yes.
Thank you very much, Speaker. Minister, looking at the fact that the students who may end up in these schools will not know whether the schools are properly accredited or not, we will find out what structural changes from the ministry are available to ensure that these institutions don't even run at all. That is what we want to do, real-time structural changes that will protect
Minister.
Students.
Honorable Minister, you have the floor.
Mr. Speaker, government will not encourage the mushrooming of tertiary educational institutions. Our policy remains access, quality, and relevance. Mr. Speaker, it's for this reason that I came to Parliament, and I should thank you, Mr. Speaker, and members, to grant charter as an optional path for institutions providing tertiary education at the private level. Hitherto, they had 10 years to either comply or we close them. Can you imagine if we were to close all the private universities in Ghana, what crisis and chaos would be in? That's why I came to Parliament and asked that we make charter optional. But Mr. Speaker, even within that, many of the universities are going through mentorship, but they still must uphold the highest standards
when it comes to accreditation. Mr. Speaker, a number of nurses training colleges are just emerging. What's the quality of the nurses that they are training? Does it meet our standards? So GTEC must move in to enforce that you don't have a nurse who will smile at a patient dying because that nurse have not been trained well. I think that we should get things right, and we must get it right with accreditation. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honourable members, we then move to question numbered 483, standing in the name of Honourable Charles Asiedu, Member of Parliament for Tano South.
I thank you, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity. Mr. Speaker, I rise to ask the Minister for Education the current status and the plan for the ministry for the completion of the following GET Fund finance infrastructure projects at St. Joseph's College of Education in Bechem, a 2-story dormitory block, a 2-story administration block, and a 3-story students' hostel. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Yes, Honourable Minister.
Mr. Speaker, let me thank the Honourable Charles Asiedu, Member for Tano South, for the question. Mr. Speaker, the upgrading of teacher training colleges into colleges of education in Ghana was driven by a strategic policy to improve quality and development and strengthen teacher education across the country to improve learning outcomes across Ghana's education system. The initiative was deliberate reform to strengthen teacher quality, professionalism, and improve basic and secondary higher education outcomes, thereby supporting national socio-economic development. The Sir Joseph College of Education is one of the 49 colleges of education in Ghana. The college is located in Bechem in the Ahafo region, has a total enrollment population of 13,634 female and 668 male, 1,302. Mr. Speaker, Sir Joseph College of Education has 3 GET Fund-sponsored projects ongoing, namely a 2-story dormitory block, 2-story administration block, and 2-story student hostel. The construction of the 2-story dormitory block was awarded in June 2015 to Measures Cater Company Limited at a contract sum of $2,157,995. The project is being supervised by Measures PPMC. Works is at 60% complete, and payment made to the contractor $1,166,165.78. Mr. Speaker, the construction of the 2-story admin block was awarded also in August 2015 to Measures Petaco Company Limited, Melon Castle Limited at a contract sum of $2.9 billion. The project is being supervised by Measures PPMC. Works on the project stands at 60% completion. Payment made to the contractor $1,337,861. $1 million. The construction of the 3-story student hostel facility was awarded to Measures Hydronomics Limited at a contract sum of $10,016,068.15. The project is 15% complete, and the contractor has not raised interim certificate. Mr. Speaker, simply, if a contract was awarded in 2015, it will be unattractive for the contractor to be aside 10 years on if it's not completed because of cost variation, and it's not likely to be profitable for the contractor. So there's no incentive to do work. Mr. Speaker, we will revise this project and get it ongoing for the honorable member. Mr. Speaker, we have taken a major policy decision to establish a new teacher training college in Ezinlibe in the Enzima area of the Western region, and then to expand the teacher training college for Bole. The GET Fund has commenced some work on these 2 institutions. What we will need to do is to replicate what we are doing for Bole for the school. So, honorable member, be assured that we'll get the consultants to go and review it, and then we may have to re-award the contract. But you should get infrastructure similar to what we have given Bole, the Bole Training College. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honourable member, any supplementary question? Honourable members, the background noise is too much.
Thank you,
Please.
Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, can the Honourable Minister for Education kindly assist the House with timeline as to when the contractor returned to site? Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Very well, Honourable Minister. I'll give you the chance.
Mr. Speaker, the last time I appeared before this House, I assured you
Honourable
that...
members, can we listen to the answer?
Mr. Speaker, I assured you that about 27 GET Farm projects were under review. The Honourable Deputy Minister Clement Apak is chairing an entity tender to review the numbers and will re-award some of it. As I stated, Mr. Speaker, if you awarded a contract in 2015, you expect the contractor to work in 2026 at the same contract value. I don't think that is a good incentive enough. It also cautions us as government that we must make sure that when we initiate projects, we get them completed on time. What will be the explanation for 10 years that this project was uncompleted? Probably abandoned because there was change in government. That should not be an acceptable practice for the development of the country. Thank you.
Any further questions?
No, Mr. Speaker. Thank you.
Remember, this is constituency specific. We move to question number 484, standing in the name of Professor Kinsili Nyako, Member of Parliament for Kwadaso.
Mr. Speaker, I rise to ask the Minister for Education the intervention the ministry has implemented or considering to implement to promote discipline in educational institutions, especially those at the tertiary level. Thank you.
Yes, Honourable Minister.
Mr. Speaker, let me thank you very much for the opportunity to respond to the question by Professor Nyako. Mr. Speaker, the incidence of indiscipline in our educational institutions is alarming, and in many instances, I've described it as un-Ghanaian. When you see a Ghanaian student wield a gun, weapon, in a secondary school, that cannot be the training of a Ghanaian child. Parenting and socialization is a shared responsibility of father and the teacher. Government is committed to dealing with the indiscipline. Mr. Speaker, when I arrived, I drew the attention of the majority leader in the whip that sometimes next week I'll come and make a statement on the growing indiscipline and steps that government is taking to arrest it. We will have a national conference in Sunyani before the end of July, where we intend to invite academics, the church, the Muslim community, teachers, educationists to come. Mr. Speaker, at Prempeh College, the school old boys decided to help them with a CCTV camera. I've seen the students go and pull it down because they don't want to be recorded. That's indiscipline. That's unacceptable. And the heaviest sanctions should be meted out to them by the Ghana Education Service. But I know, Mr. Speaker, we reviewed our capital punishment regime. And therefore, there is laxity. And many of these students are not punished for those unacceptable conduct. Mr. Speaker, only last week, I supported the Minister for the Interior and the Narcotics Control Institution to deal with the drug menace in schools. And you'll be alarmed that in some secondary schools, a student will have the courage to go and sell weed, marijuana, cannabis on school campus. Mr. Speaker, this should merit outright dismissal, because if this doesn't happen, he will poison the rest of the students who are completely innocent. So I agree that there is a problem, there is growing indecision. And then, Mr. Speaker, there is a case in the senior high school WASSE exams where some students decided to beat up a teacher because he would not help them in writing the exams. We've had an incident of that nature recorded, that because the teacher and invigilators will be strict and vigilant, they decided to mess up with the teacher. So we may have to rethink and review our punishment regime and to clothe the Ghana Education Service with authority to deal ruthlessly with any student who misbehaves and finds himself wanting when it comes to the code of conduct of the school. So meanwhile, the Ministry of Education and GS, we are implementing a number of measures to strengthen discipline at the pre-education level. Namely, we are introducing behavioral standards guide for learners, revised teachers code of conduct, and we've drafted a national safe school policy. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Hello, any supplementary question?
Mr. Speaker, I would like to thank the Honourable Minister for his responses. They are comprehensive enough, and I hope that the Ministry and GS will be able to implement them to the benefit of the country. And we look forward to seeing you next week for the plans you have to deal a deadly blow to this menace affecting our pre-educational institution. And that's all, Mr. Speaker. Thanks for indulging me.
Honourable members, let's move to question numbered 487, standing in the name of Honourable Daniel Dang Mahama, Member of Parliament for Talensi. Yes.
Speaker, with respect, I have the authority of the member concerned to seek your permission to ask his question on his behalf.
Yes.
I'm grateful, Speaker. To ask the Minister for Education when the E block located in Yarimege in the Talensi district will be completed and put into use. Thank you.
Yes, Honourable Minister.
Mr. Speaker, thank you very much for the opportunity. The E-Block project was an initiative under the Community Day Senior High School program aimed at increasing access to secondary education across the country. The E-Block schools were designed with modern facilities to accommodate a growing number of students. Mr. Speaker, the E-Block project located at Yamirga in the Talensi district of the Upper East region was awarded in May 2023 to Measures Malsons Limited at a contract sum of 12,325,796.61 Ghana cedis. The project is being supervised by AESL. Payment made so far on the project stands at 12.7 million. Works on the project stands at 12.7 million. Works on the project stands at 75% completion. I even see a variance in the amount of money that has been paid to the contractor, far more exceeding the contract value. The Ministry through GET Fund will ensure the completion of the project. Mr. Speaker, I'm sure it's part of the 27 that I have spoken about. Thank you.
Yes, any supplementary question?
Speaker, not really, except to correct the record that is Yamarige. And then to say that we have trust in the minister to deliver. Thank you.
Please, it's not every record that are supposed to be corrected by you. Let's move to question numbered 489, standing in the name of Honorable Kobana Boatin, Member of Parliament for Ejisu. Yes.
Mr. Speaker, I come under Order 88.3.
Please do.
Thank you. Mr. Speaker, I rise to ask the Minister for Education whether there is any plan on paper by government to establish a teacher training college in the Ejisu municipality. Thank you.
Yes, Honorable Minister.
Mr. Speaker, thank you very much. Mr. Speaker, there is a plan, but probably not on paper, but we'll consider the establishment of a teacher training institution in other regions of Ghana, including the Ejisu municipality. So it will be considered. But Mr. Speaker, to respond to the honorable member, teacher training colleges are normally established with...
The question is the plan on paper. And you said there is a plan, but it is not on paper. That answers the question.
Mr. Speaker,
you see, I'm doing this because sometimes the way you ask the question will call for a particular answer, and you can ask a supplementary questions. So that's why you run into problem. If you force to ask a supplementary question, you'll be violating the rules. Minister, you have the floor.
Mr. Speaker, I was heavily influenced by the majority leader when I rose to respond to this question. So I told him in Hausa that by year, I cannot answer it simplistically as it is. But Mr. Speaker, we normally will consider population growth, teacher demand and access to education, particularly in such areas. Ejisu is strategic, and we'll consider that. Mr. Speaker, the new attitude, my advice is that we should precede pronouncement and declaration of establishment of such institutions with infrastructure. So mine is not to say that we establish a Ejisu teacher training college. Let's start with infrastructure minimum. That allows Ejisu to have a teacher training college. Then you can make a formal announcement, then come to Parliament and pass a law. On paper, as of today, Mr. Speaker, Ezinlibe in the Nzima district of the Western region is what I have formal approval from the President to establish a new teacher training college between now and 2027. Ejisu and other areas will be considered in the next phase of it. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Any supplementary question?
No supplementary, Mr. Speaker. Thank you.
Let's move to question number 538, standing in the name of Honorable Issa Salifu Taylor. Takwa Nsoim.
Yeah, thank you, the Right Honorable Speaker. I rise to ask the Minister for Education what immediate plans the ministry has to provide kindergarten and basic school blocks for the high number of government schools in need of this basic infrastructure in some rural areas in the Takwa Nsoim constituency.
Yes, Honorable Minister.
Mr. Speaker, I thank you for the opportunity. Adequate, safe, and child-friendly kindergarten facilities provide children with a strong educational foundation during their formative years. They improve school readiness, enhance learning outcomes, promote inclusive education, and contribute significantly to the nation's long-term social and economic development. Government recognizes that investment in early childhood education is an investment in the future of the nation. As part of efforts to improving access to quality basic education, government has prioritized the construction of purpose-built kindergarten blocks across the country. To achieve this, government in the 2026 budget policy statement provided for 200 KG schools and 200 primary schools across the country. We are in the process of procurement. I've seen some requests to the Minister of Finance to grant commencement authorization for this to kick off, sponsored and funded by the GET Fund. Mr. Speaker, we will consider the request of the honorable member. The Takwa and Suayem constituency, from our data, is one of the deprived areas when it comes to the provision of basic education infrastructure. Mr. Speaker, this morning I was speaking to the Honorable Minister for Finance for additional resources of almost 30 million Ghana cedis. He requested that I send him a request for environment. When that is done, we can consider some of the basic schools in Takwa and Suayam. So I'll engage the honorable member as and when the funds are available. But I'm sure this can be done. We can capture you under what was provided for in the budget of 2026. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honourable member, any supplementary question?
I thank you, Mr. Speaker. The minister has spoken about 200 kgs and 200 primary schools blocks nationwide in the 2026 budget. Could the minister state specifically how many of these blocks, if any, have been allocated to Takwan Suayem?
Please file a fresh question.
And name the communities.
File a fresh question.
The first question?
Yes.
Okay. Then, Minister, thank you so much.
Thank you too. We then move to question numbered. Yao, Opoku, Ofinsu South.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Speaker, inadvertently, the name of the school with respect to question number 621 on today's order paper was omitted. So I seek your leave to read the correct version of the question.
Is it omitted in the question transmitted to the minister?
Yes, it was omitted by the table office, I think. They've come to apologize, Speaker.
Very well. Let's look at the correction.
So, Speaker, I rise to ask the Minister for Education when work on the following abandoned GET Fund projects at the Offenso College of Education will resume. 3-story lecture hall and office complex block and 300-bed capacity hostel. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
Yes, Honorable Minister.
Mr. Speaker, let me thank you for the opportunity to respond to the honorable member. The Offensive College of Education is located in Offensive South Municipality of the Ashanti region, has a student total enrollment of 1,492, 703 male, 789 female. The college has 2 GET Fund projects located on the campus, namely 1 3-story lecture hall and office complex block and 300-bed capacity hostel. Mr. Speaker, the construction of the 3-story lecture hall and office complex block was awarded in April 2016 to Measures Petaco Company Limited at a contract sum of 1,493,582.48 Ghana cedis. The project is being supervised by Measures C Consult. Payment made so far 398,362.46 Ghana cedis to the contractor. The project is at 25% completion rate. Mr. Speaker, the construction of the 300-bed capacity hostel was awarded in December 2023 to Measures MA Construction Company Limited at a contract price of 9,861,235.34 Ghana cedis. The project is being supervised by Measures Gold Street REC. The project is at floor level and work on it 35%. No payment made to the contractor. Mr. Speaker, as I said, it's probably the case that the contractor has abandoned site because he doesn't find the contract attractive or profitable enough. The project, another GET Fund project, will be subjected to revision, as I stated, Mr. Speaker, and we will re-award a number of those contracts. Let me assure the honorable member that we'll prioritize this in our revision of the 27 to 30 GET Fund projects. Thank you.
Any supplementary question?
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Speaker, I want to find out from the Honorable Minister. He indicated that for the 300-bed capacity, the work done so far stands at 35%. I want to know whether there's any arrangement to pay for the work done so far.
Yes, Honorable Minister.
Mr. Speaker, once the contractor works and is verified by the supervising consultant and he submits an IPC to the ministry, we'll get fund to pay the contractor. But that must be initiated by the two of them, the contractor and the consultant, satisfying that this amount of work have been done for this amount, then we are ready to pay. But as I indicated, Honorable, this contract, 2016, we are in 2026, 10 years on. You awarded it probably at 1 million, whatever it is. The cost of the project today will not be the same as it was in 2016, and a revision is compelling and necessary. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Any further
Thank
questions?
you very much. But, Honorable Minister, this particular project was awarded in 2023. This particular one is 2023. But let me thank you sincerely for the assurance. I hope the revision will be done in time, for the projects to be re-awarded.
Yes, Minister.
Mr. Speaker, we will re-evaluate the Offensive College of Education projects in its entirety, that which was awarded in 2016 and that in 2023. But Mr. Speaker, if he has an IPC, we'll be happy to pay him so that he can get back to site. But as I've indicated, many of the contractors have walked to our offices with complaints that they don't think that the worth of the project at contract value is today is same as it was in 2016. But I've taken note of the 2023. We will look at it. Payment have not been made because the contractor hasn't submitted an IPC. So get him to get the consultants. Once he submits an IPC worth the 35%, we'll be happy to pay him to go back to site. But this, the two facilities, the 3-story lecture hall and then a 300-bed capacity hotel, will all be subjected to our revision. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
Yes, we move to the last question, 638, standing in the name of Robert Wisdom Kujo, Prestia, Mini Valley.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I rise to ask the Minister for Education the measures adopted by the ministry to reduce the high number of community teachers recruited and paid by parents in the Prestia Mini Valley constituency.
Honorable Minister.
Mr. Speaker, the Ghana Education Service teacher deployment norms and guidelines ensure equitable distribution of teachers, improve quality education delivery, and promote efficient utilization of the human resource. Teacher deployment is guided by the principles of equity, need-based allocation, and professional relevance. Deployment decisions are based on approved vacancies, staffing gaps, enrollment levels, curriculum demands, and teacher qualification and subject specialization. Mr. Speaker, the non-prioritized where critical shortages are, especially in rural deprived areas. Mr. Speaker, as I indicated last 2 weeks, we are currently finalizing the recruitment of the 7,000 teachers for which we got clearance from the Ministry of Finance. I've asked them to evaluate it on the basis of need. We've had, for instance, some major ethnic groups even saying that they need language teachers in their particular areas for purpose of mother tongue language teaching. We are evaluating all that. Mr. Speaker, with the Prestia Mini Valley, a similar question I understand was raised in 2023. Teachers recruited and paid by parents. That is not a good practice. We will not encourage that. A team from the Ministry of Education visited the area in July 2023 to undertake a situational assessment. The findings confirm 176 number of community teachers operating in that area. Mr. Speaker, let me just assure my colleague that we will remedy this for him. I thank you.
Any supplementary question?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, there's no supplementary question. I want to thank the minister and say that I will still visit him with a list of teachers still working under such condition. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you very much. Honorable members, question time is ended. And let me crave your, yes.
Speaker, I just want to take this opportunity to commend the Minister of Education that every time he's called upon, he's very present and he's punctual and his delivery is always on point. And Speaker, today when you look at him as compared to a friend I know, he's very presidential. He looks very presidential.
Thank you very much,
Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Minister for Education, we are most grateful that you are always with us in the chamber, and anytime you are called upon to come and respond to questions, you are available to do so. This is highly commendable of you. Accordingly, you are discharged. Honorable members, let me crave your indulgence to acknowledge the presence of students from Peki Bete DA Primary School, led by Courage Joshua Agbenyega, curriculum lead from South Dine, the number 32. We also have we have students from NUS, led by Yusuf Suleimana, Grassard President. They are from Oforikom, the number 45. Then we also have NUS Science Students Association, led by Henry Odro Ntiamwa, Senate Leader. They are also from Oforikom, the number 34. And then we have Christ Apostolic School Complex, led by Maxwell Kuoye, Assistant Headmaster. They are from Botiano, English, Amanfro, the numbered 24. Then we have Graceland Basic School, led by Douglas Kwame Doglo, Assistant Headmaster. They are from Okaikwe South, the number 66. And then Obri Yeboah Senior High School, led by Joseph Arthur Hagan, Master in Charge. They are from Asin Central, the numbered 55. Honourable members, on your behalf, I welcome our dear students to Parliament of Ghana and urge them to have a fruitful visit. Second Deputy Speaker should take the chair. In the meantime, we have other paper addendum requesting that the minister, the chairman of the committee, present a report. Yes, other paper addendum, chairman of the committee.
Report of the Joint Committee on Education and Defense and Interior on the National Defense University Ghana Bill 2025.
All members, report duly presented, and it is for distribution to honorable members. Now, honorable members, we have a statement standing in the name of Honorable Roxanne Kwame Eche Dapamako. Second Deputy should take the chair.
Honorable Roxanne Nelson Atta Dafiamapo, you may take the floor now.
Speaker, let me thank you for the opportunity to make this very brief statement. Speaker, calling for an immediate special intervention package for market women and victims of the flood in this specifically identified market areas. Speaker, I rise with a very profound sense of urgency and national responsibility to draw the attention of this August House to the effect of the flood that continue to affect communities across southern Ghana, leaving behind a trail of destruction, economic hardship, and human suffering. Speaker, beyond the submerged roads, damaged homes, and destroyed public infrastructure lies another unfolding crisis: the collapse of livelihoods. Mr. Speaker, thousands of market women, traders, artisans, and small business owners have lost their entire working capital within a matter of hours. Speaker, as the data will show, the record will bear me out that the Aflao market, Keta market, Angloga market, Joje market, the Akachi market, the Sugakope market, the Adam market, the Ashama market, the Tema New Town market, the Tema Community 1 market, the Medina market, Domi market, the Kaneshi market, the Odoko market, Malam Junction market, the Kaswa market, the Kotokraba market in Cape Coast, the Sikado market in Takrady, and Samri Boy market. Mr. Speaker, these 19 very big and identified markets have really been affected by the sudden floods. Speaker, the estimated number of market women who have been affected are over 100,000. Speaker, this call is for a special package to be done for them so that, Mr. Speaker, they can continue to do their petty trading and maintain livelihood. Speaker, these market women are not merely traders. They are the backbone of a lot of households. Mr. Speaker, they finance education, they provide health care for their families, they employ thousands of young people, and sustain local food production and distribution across our country. For many of them, Mr. Speaker, the goods destroyed by the floods represent years of sacrifice, borrowed capital, and cooperative savings. Without immediate support, Mr. Speaker, many face the prospect of permanent business collapse, mounting debt, and deeper poverty. Government has done some major intervention a couple of days ago. But, Mr. Speaker, as leaders, as political leaders, our attention is being drawn to this particular segment of the victims that need some immediate attention. And, Mr. Speaker, as part of our responsibilities, these are not things that NADMO may, as part of its functions, be able to accede to. Now, the information also available is that we may be able to get the Ghana Enterprises Agency, which possesses the institutional mandate and also the nationwide presence, to be able to roll out some intervention in respect of these particularly identified markets and the market women who patronize them. Mr. Speaker, it is with this sense of urgency that I make the call this morning to draw the House attention and see affected. And the one that is supposed to go to compensate for whether it is the silting of drains, expansion of drains, we utilize it effectively. I know that as a house, there will be a call for accountability so that the people will come and account for every dime, for every cedi that was used for. So notice is hereby served that those who are implementing the usage of the 350 will do needful to that. Mr. Speaker, a quick commentary as well on the issue of the fire disaster. My colleague talked about the need for insurance. But if you look at the way our market is even structured, which insurance company is going to do that investment or to insure the worst of our people? If you go to the recent floods and the disaster that happened in Abu Blushi areas and the stores that were taken over, a lot of them have tried to go for insurance. I know some businesswomen who have tried time and again to secure insurance, but they said they will not do it because when they consider the risk involved in those areas, the way the markets are set up, no insurance company will go there because in the event of a fire disaster, this is what is going to happen, or in the event of a flood. And so it is very important for government to relook at the way our markets are established. Importantly, as they even go on their 24-hour market establishment. This 24-hour market, you don't know whether the market is going to operate 24 hours in a village in Gumpurgu. Mr. Speaker, the markets are being called 24-hour market, but you don't know which of the markets that operate. Even Makola cannot operate 24 hours. How much more 24-hour market? And so it is fair that they are constructing market. It is important that they are constructing market. But the 24-hour market, we cannot operate 24 hours. Mr. Speaker, in bringing my commentary to a close, Mr. Speaker, there is this contradictory report. Government of Ghana on the 30th of June has issued a statement that a Ghanaian citizen has been fatally killed in South Africa. I don't know if it has come to your attention. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs made that statement, and it is connected to the xenophobic issues in South Africa.
Honorable member, that has nothing to do with the topic.
So then to conclude, Mr. Speaker, to conclude.
So thank you for your contribution.
Mr. Speaker, to conclude. So to conclude, Mr. Speaker, it is my ardent appeal to this House, particularly through you, the Speaker, that there should be adequate and effective utilization of the 350 million.
Thank you.
Then as well the market. I thank you, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity.
Thank you. Let me give honorable member for
East Ayawaso.
East Ayawaso East. Yes.
Mr. Speaker, thank you very much. And I also stand to add my voice to the statement issued by our Chief Whip. Mr. Speaker, when it comes to disasters like this, we will want to be apolitical. We will want to be a-tribal, a-religious. We will want to be nationalistic. We will want to give statements that will encourage people on the ground. Because these disasters do not know colors. They don't know whether you are a Yoruba, a Dagomba, a MPP, and this. It doesn't know that. And so sometimes when it comes, in fact, these are issues that should warrant us as MPs to even come to this House in red to show that we are sympathizing with the people. Yeah. It is not time to joke with it at all. The women who have lost their things in the market, my own constituency, in 1 month I suffered 2 disasters at Nima Market and 37 Market. And go and see the agony in the face of the faces of the people. That's why these issues are very important issues. When we raise them, we should be talking towards making policies that will prevent those things. We should be talking to encourage people on the ground. We should be talking to make people feel that their representatives are with them in these times of difficulty. And that's why I support this statement and want to encourage government. You see, when we talk about insurance, change is difficult, but insurance is important. We have to sensitize the people to come on board. Nobody wants a change. Some of them don't even understand the effects of insurance. But we, the few that are privileged to understand them, we need to encourage them to do it. We need to establish welfare system. Mr. Speaker, the best countries in this world are welfare states. When you go to the Nordic area, the Danish, this thing, they're all welfare states. They pay into welfare, and that makes sure that everybody is catered for. And that's why I attach so much importance to this statement. And I want to encourage colleagues and encourage everybody, and Ghanaians, whilst we are sympathizing with them, what are we doing to at least assist them in this difficult time? And that's why government comes in. Mr. Speaker, government should be bold to clear all the gutters, to clear all those buildings on the waterways. Government should be prepared to ensure, look, this country, how many incinerators do we have to be able to start burning our garbage? Because most of the developed countries, like Germany, most of their garbage is burned through incineration. And these are the things that the energy ministry should be looking at. We should be serious with issues like this. An issue, 60 years of our living, continuous every year incurring, and we are not taking any serious policies to curb it. Mr. Speaker, I encourage the government to be serious about this. Thank you very much.
Honourable members, I think we've said a lot. Let me revert to leadership. I beg of you, I've taken so many. We've taken about 10 commentaries. So let me revert to leadership. Okay. Let me give you the opportunity.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for this opportunity. I rise to really thank the maker of the speech or the statement, our Chief Whip, the Honorable Defre Makpo, heavily, made this statement to this House. I rise to contribute to this statement on the fact that these heavy rains, if you look at the millimeters in terms of rainfall, it's about 140 millimeters of rains. And it was surprising. And no lowland can contain this very waters. 165. Okay, thank you. So if you look at what had happened, in fact, he counted a lot of markets, but I want to also mention that the yam market was heavily affected. It's one of the basket of, is it food basket of this nation. It was heavily hit by this storm. And also considering the Kadeshi market, it was not spared. But if you look at what has happened, in fact, I rise to also commend the president of the day, President Mahama, for his intervention and also allowing the military to step in, the NADMO stepping in. He himself did an area inspection, and it was that commendable. And you can see that the heart of this nation, or the president had this heart to sympathize with our market women. In fact, to end up with this statement, I think that we are actually blessed to have these interventions that our market women will not be spared. I'm sure that most of the affected areas, In fact, the lives that I've lost is my concern, that I really sympathize with the people. In fact, at least 12 people died through this storm. About 12 people died, and about 470 people also displaced. It's a concern. But I would also say that most of these victims are really heavily relying on government to do something for them, and especially with the market that I've mentioned. I believe that they shouldn't be left out, but also supported. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay, let me also listen to you. Hadia, I'll give you 2 minutes. Don't worry.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity to contribute to the statement made by our colleague, Dafia Mopo, the Majority Chief Whip. Mr. Speaker, the issue of flooding is very devastating. Let's be honest to ourselves. This issue of flooding, honestly, Ghanaians less expected this. May I use this privilege to send our condolences to the people who were affected, those who lost their lives, and some also lost properties. Mr. Speaker, this statement has come in good faith, and this is the time the government has to intervene. And then when we are dealing with flooding, in most cases, it's not centers in Accra alone. When you go to places like Kumasi, when you go to places like the Volta, and then when you come to Western North, for instance, Mr. Speaker, Swamine, there is a particular place we have never experienced such flooding before. But here being the case, for the first time, we had our roads blocked. There are some places like Atechim, for instance, we have never experienced flooding before, but it got to a time this time. So what I want to urge the government is that in terms of disbursement of fund, he has to also look at Western North, of which Swamine, as I'm saying, isn't exceptional. There are some people at Transbia in the Swamine constituency. Mr. Speaker, they do come to markets on Thursdays, but here being the case, on market days, they couldn't enter Swamine, as in that they also being the district capital. We being the MPs, our names are being called. Sometimes somebody will call you and ask you to get the person a chop money because he couldn't come to market to buy things. So in terms of disbursement of fund, the government has to also allocate some to Swamine Dadieso so that these market women can also get means of feeding. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity.
Thank you. Hajia, I'll give you 2 minutes, please. My brother.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. I will try and stick to the 2 minutes. Mr. Speaker, I want to thank the Honorable Nelson Dafiamapo, the Chief Whip of the majority side, for this very touching and insightful statement. Mr. Speaker, I say this because ordinarily, we expect that women will speak about women issues. But for a man to make our issues his priority, it tells us that clearly we are making headway with our pursuit of equality and gender empowerment. We are grateful, Mr. Chief Whip. Mr. Speaker, my contribution is very short. Very often when these disasters happen, we tend to look at its effect and in terms of property, in terms of lives, which unfortunately we lost so many, may their souls rest in peace. But we also forget easily the aftermath of the flooding. Yesterday, I saw on TV news a market woman indicating that the flood had washed away her wares, and her wares include smoked fish. But that, thank God today the sun is out, so we'll put the fish in the sun to dry and bring it back to sell. Mr. Speaker, that raised my antennas. What is going to happen after these floods? We need to immediately, as a country, activate our public health safety systems to ensure. And that is where the issue about the insurance for the market woman becomes critical. A market woman who has been able to insure her business should feel a little bit of relief in terms of going to start all over. But clearly, the bulk of the market women are going to act in desperation. They've lost all their capital.
Thank you very much. Let me now revert to leadership. Oh, Aja, I didn't do it. Oh, is it the ladies at the table? Yes. Honorable Jerry.
Speaker, I thank you very much. And let me commend my senior colleague for bringing this to our attention. Mr. Speaker, I have been deeply upset and utterly overwhelmed and extremely distraught by the severity of this flood the past 3 days. Mr. Speaker, if you were with me this morning and yesterday, you would have wept. Against the backdrop that I saw older women who had to swim at all costs just to save their lives. Speaker, windows were forcefully broken just to pull people out. Speaker, I've visited homes that people lost their lives just because water submerged their homes. And Speaker, all these homes that I visited are the homes of women. So they always go through all the pain. Whilst pregnant, they go through pains. Whilst delivering, they go through pain. And when it comes to in situations like this, they are the ones who are confronted with very painful strikes. Speaker, visiting these homes, you saw, and I will not look at it from the point of view of market women. I will look at it from the point of view of traders. Those who are selling Pampers, those who are the kind of wares they have bought and they have kept in their homes as hawkers. Speaker, at a point I just told them that I do not know what to do anymore. And that's the truth. Because these are women who may have just gone to solicit for funds, maybe through a loan system or any loan facility, just to come and do this trade. And you'll be surprised that they may even be single mothers because they are even taking care of their own children with no husbands or no men in their lives. And these are the women, Speaker, all over the place. And they are still standing because they can't even sleep. Their mattresses are all wet. And we'll be doing the same thing, same time. Next year, we'll come back here, we'll be talking about flooding. Well, I really pray so, that to the extent that the president has even committed to giving some monies for preventive measures. Speaker, my hope and prayer is that that will be used for the same purpose. Speaker, when I went round, I had 11,000 cities. The people...
11,000?
11,000 cities.
Cities?
Yes. Yes. I'm not rich like you, but I try. The people I was with, I had to get them to send monies because they had to use their momos to support. Speaker, people are suffering. They do not know where to sleep. I have been able to get them churches and provided them with mattresses and giving them rice and maize, and it's not enough. Speaker, it's not. But Speaker, I just started with a conversation that I think we should all look at critically. There was something I observed, which is largely the sanitation matter thereafter. Everywhere is filled with filth and squalor. Wherever you pass, everywhere. So, after my rounds, the first thing I did was to go to the municipal office, to go and talk to the MC who was in there. But the most important thing is to see how this garbage are all cleared. Else, Speaker, you can be thinking of the next disaster. Cholera will be all over the place. We need to fumigate almost everywhere. When we were going, they were trying to give me egg. I said, I won't eat. And they didn't understand because I'm afraid. And I was really hungry, but I did not take it. Speaker, we need to sit up and stop being partisan or political with such issues. If we do not sit up, you will be confronted one day. So that we saw the kind of people who were supposed to deal with some of these issues, but they were being partisan about it. Whether MPP or NDC, we have always been partisan with some of these things. When we are losing lives, the lives are not colored in NDC.
Jerry, I give you two more minutes. So.
I thank you very much, because this is a situation that I think that in the whole of Greater Accra, I have suffered most. And let me thank the majority leader for an intervention. That when it comes to situations like this, we should not be partisan. So the 85-year-old woman also had a cat. So she's supposed to go and have an injection for tetanus. And I had to send several of such people this morning to the hospital. Why? Because whilst they were trying to walk, most glasses had been broken and they were being cut and they had nails pricking them. Speaker, the situation is bad. We should be our brother's keepers at this point. And let us understand that irrespective of your party affiliation, the life that you are saving today may be the one that will save you tomorrow. And that we should come together and be thinking about our constituents, about the Ghanaian people. The monies that the president has asked that it should be disbursed or it be used for whatever purposes, we are calling on the Minister of Finance that it should expedite action on same and ensure that it will go to the right people, the right recipients, Speaker, the victims, and not party members. Speaker, with these few words, I want to thank you for this opportunity.
Thank you very much. Majority leadership. Yes. Honorable Comfordeo.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I would like to thank the Chief Whip for this statement. It's SOS call. Mr. Speaker, it is not about market women alone. Mr. Speaker, when you go to some of the constituencies, I will cite Ada as an example. A whole community, Kakiche Kope, Bale Kope, Kopehem, and then Green Heights area, their farms, their stores, all their farms are in water now, as at now, which means the farmers, the peasant farmers are going to suffer a lot. At that farm market, they didn't pick anything. Kasai market, as he said, they didn't pick anything. Mr. Speaker, structures have collapsed. The water started in the midnight. Before they could say Jack, they have been engulfed. They couldn't pick anything. They couldn't pick their dresses. They couldn't pick their monies. By the time they ran to the market too, everything has washed away. Mr. Speaker, what to wear now in some of the places is a problem. The farmers, especially the peasant farmers, we should tend and look at them too. Mr. Speaker, people who are doing trading in such areas are not the only people who suffered. People who are living at places that they didn't experience the flood, but they trade in those markets also suffered. Because by the time they came to the market, everything is gone. Mr. Speaker, this one is SOS call. We should treat these people with special treatment. Mr. Speaker, there should be no discrimination because the water didn't discriminate anybody. This is the time for the assemblyman in the area, and then assemblyman in the area should come with their team and then register the people who sell in the houses apart from the market. Mr. Speaker, this is why we have to thank the president for the 24-hour economy market, because this market is going to give us a data. Now we don't have data. Mr. Speaker, let us start punishing people who have gutters in front of them and the gutters are choked. And they don't care, they don't mind. People are selling in front of gutters and they themselves sweep and pack them in the gutter. And the gutter is choked and everybody have to suffer for some few people who have decided to do the wrong thing. Mr. Speaker, if you have a gutter in front of your house, if you have a gutter in front of your market area, all those areas we should punish them. Because communal labor was what we were trained with. But now it's like each for himself, God for us all. So if even we have the we sweep, we pack everything and put in the gutter, we have forgotten about communal labor, and who will come and clean for us? Mr. Speaker, where to dump our rubbish to should be something that we should think about it properly. Some of the debris that we saw that the water was carrying is because of a wrong dumping place. They dump in the wrong place and the water just carried everything, choked the gutters, and everywhere got flooded. Mr. Speaker, it's very, very pathetic because the figures that we have in our books, we have more than that we have not taken their records. And they are just there and they don't know where to go, what to do. We are begging people who did not suffer this flood, pick 10, 5, 15 people and support them. Dresses that you have in your wardrobe, for years you have not worn them. Please, put them in Ghana Must Go. Go to such places. Pour it for people to pick and wear. They don't even have. I could remember I called somebody, please, come. You know today I have to meet you. So where are you? He said, Honorable, all my dresses is gone. I have to go.
Two more minutes.
So, Mr. Speaker, it is not an easy task because those who suffered the flood, they couldn't even pick slippers and talk about dresses. So let us support them. Those who can support, those who claim they have, and those who can give, please, we shouldn't wait for government alone. Go to one village, ask them, and then start supporting them. Give them something. Some of the women, they don't need much to start again. They have lost all that they have. Something small will keep them going. So let us work as one people, one Ghana, and save this situation. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you very much. Honorable members, when you look at the other paper, we have one advertised statement. And that statement, leader, you want to?
Yeah, Mr. Speaker, tomorrow is a holiday. But we appear to have forgotten that it is to commemorate our Republic Day. And I don't recall that we have made any statement in this chamber to commemorate the attainment of Republican status in this country. I think we are taking it for granted that being a republic is a matter of course. It had to take people struggle over years to secure independence and to fight to transition us from a constitutional monarchy to a fully fledged republic. Indeed, a few days ago, there was a statement on parliamentarianism. Parliament began with the establishment of a local legislative assembly, and later on became a parliament at independence. But the executive, the presidential system that we have today was born after the 1960 referendum, which established the 1960 Constitution, which established for the first time, a president, the President of the Republic of Ghana, who was in the person of Dr. Kwame Nkrumah. And so the history of the presidency and the executive arm of government began in 1960 with the establishment of a republican constitution. We then severed the presidency from parliament, and then we began building the institution of the presidency, which subsequently got overthrown, when military coups came in, and parliaments also got closed when military coups, occurred. But then the military councils assumed the position of presidents, but they were not exactly in the form of a presidency elected. And so when we have a Republican Day, we have to remember the history and also mark the emergence of certain critical institutions and use it as an opportunity to educate ourselves on the constitutional history of our country. Unfortunately, we missed the occasion, and so we did not make a statement. I'm not making a statement, Mr. Speaker, but I'm just drawing attention to the fact that we missed the opportunity to make a statement to mark Republic Day, to remind ourselves of the struggles of those who severed relations with the British monarchy, attained total independence, and set Ghana out as an example that spurred other countries to fight for total liberation from colonial rule in Africa, and especially in sub-Saharan Africa. And so without making a statement, Mr. Speaker, I will allow us to proceed to take the statement from Honorable Hajia Ladi. This not being a statement, I don't think that people will be allowed to comment.
Leader,
so
I take this
there's
as
no
a statement.
opportunity to comment. But
I
just
take
to
this
remind
as-
people that
Leader.
the holiday tomorrow is to commemorate Republican Day.
Leader,
Yes.
thank you. I take this as a statement, and we'll take one comment from each side. So,
I do not think that would belabor the points made by the majority leader. And I'm happy that he's the one who actually made this very short statement. Speaker, colonization, we are all very much aware, took a lot of things away from us. So Republic Day should be a day that should be commemorative enough. Save that these days, Republic Day has become a Thanksgiving Day. And we do not know what the Thanksgiving, when people are dying, people are having Thanksgiving. But Speaker, we wish the Ghanaian people a happy Republic Day. And that tomorrow's holiday, they should find time to visit loved ones who have been affected by flood. If they can extend their visits to Wejagbawi, and even supporters would appreciate same. Thank you very much, Speaker, for this opportunity.
thank you very much. I'll take it from the senior most, Honorable Emmanuel Bejura.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, let me commend the Majority Leader for bringing to the fore and reminding Ghanaians about the Republic Day celebration, which fell yesterday and will be celebrated tomorrow, the Friday, as we have agreed and approved in this House that if a holiday falls on a weekday, we will push it to Friday. I'm particularly grateful to the Minister for Interior that has brought this to the House for our approval. Mr. Speaker, just as the maker of the statement has alluded, the Republic Day is so significant in our life. Some of us were not born at that time, but at least we came to know that Republic Day has done something for this country. It has moved this country forward. Mr. Speaker, in the later days, recent years, we have seen how Republic Days were celebrated. And for the President of the Republic to dedicate the Republic Day, day that you were liberated, day that you have taken over a nation as your own nation, and you have decided that the sovereignty will reside on you, and you've dedicated that day to the Almighty God that has created the heavens and the earth, to thank Him for all that He has done for you, irrespective of what might have happened during the day, but to thank Him. The good book says that we should give thanks to the Lord in all situations. And so if God has brought us this far, there are others who are waiting, looking for today. They couldn't get it. Blaster has scored, and we are praying that they will score again on Saturday for us to lift the cup and bring it to Ghana. We should give thanks to the Lord. So I am particularly happy that the President has dedicated the 1st of July as a day of Thanksgiving service. My prayer is that, just as my colleague, Honorable Deputy Minority Whip mentioned, we should celebrate this with the idea that it's a day that we're liberated. It's a day that we've taken over the country as a sovereign nation. We should visit loved ones. We should do what is needful. We should not go indulging in things that will not lift us up. People will go and get drunk. We should not get drunk. We should not, especially youth, should not go on drugs. This country of late, we hear of drugs all over the place. The youth should desist from taking drugs. Let us be conscious of the fact that this is the only nation that we have, and this is the only place that you are called Ghanaian. You don't have Ghana anywhere. The economic development that is going on, we should all put our hands to the wheel and make sure this nation moves forward in the right direction. And with this few words, Mr. Speaker, I thank the maker of the statement.
Thank you very much. Honourable members, as I said, the statement that has been officially advertised stands in the name of Hajia Ladi Aye Ayamba. So, Hajia, before I officially invite you to read your statement, indulge me to acknowledge the second batch of students who came all the way from Tuase to visit the House of the Representatives. So, Tuase Senior High School, yeah, the member is currently out of the chamber. Yes. So Tuase Senior High School, they are here being led by Philip Osei Amoa, who is the master in charge of their cadet. And the school is located in the Achoma and Webiaja South constituency. I learned your number is 45. You are welcome, and we wish you a pleasant stay in Parliament. Thank you so much. So now, Hajia, you may take the floor and read your statement on Cuba Friendship Association.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, for indulging me to make a statement on the Ghana-Cuba Friendship Association. Mr. Speaker, I am grateful for the opportunity to make a statement on the long-standing and cordial relationship between the Republic of Ghana and the Republic of Cuba. Mr. Speaker, the friendship between our two nations is rooted in a shared history of solidarity, mutual respect, and a common commitment to social justice, development, and international cooperation. Mr. Speaker, the establishment of diplomatic relations between Ghana and Cuba has been since 1959, and the two have maintained strong partnership that has stood the test of time. The relationship was inspired by the vision and leadership of Ghana's first president, Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, and Cuba's leader, Fidel Castro. that has remained one of the most enduring examples of South-South cooperation. Mr. Speaker, there are notable similarities in our governance system, especially in dealing with corruption, economic hardship, social inequality, the perceived failure of leadership to address the needs of ordinary citizens, accountability, national dignity, and the empowerment of the masses. Both countries reflect the aspirations of ordinary people for a more equitable and just society, and continue to influence the political history and national consciousness of their respective countries. Mr. Speaker, one of the most significant pillars of the Ghana-Cuba relations has been cooperation in the health sector. Over the years, Cuban medical professionals have contributed immensely to healthcare delivery in Ghana, particularly in underserved and rural communities. At the same time, many Ghanaian students have benefited from scholarships and professional training opportunities in Cuba, returning home with skills and expertise that continue to strengthen our national developmental efforts. And this can be traced as most of our excellent doctors are serving at various health facilities and have even established their own private health facilities. Mr. Speaker, the relationship between Ghana and Cuba extends beyond healthcare. Our two countries have collaborated in exchange of developmental programs such as education, agriculture, science, culture, sports, and human resource development. These exchanges have deepened the bonds between our people and demonstrated the value of international partnership built on mutual benefit rather than narrow interest. Mr. Speaker, at this time when the global community is confronted with challenges such as climate change, food insecurity, public health emergencies, and economic uncertainty, it is important that Ghana and Cuba continue to strengthen their cooperation. There remains enormous potential for collaboration in biotechnology, pharmaceutical production, agricultural innovation, renewable energy, and technical education that will continue to enhance the growth of our two countries and beyond. Mr. Speaker, as representatives of the people, we must continue to support initiatives that enhance diplomatic engagement and promote economic and cultural exchanges between our countries. It was in this perspective that the late former Flight Lieutenant General Rawlings continued with the legacy of our first president, Dr. Kwame Nkrumah. A stronger Ghana-Cuba partnership will not only benefit our respective nations, but will also contribute to broader efforts towards sustainable development and international solidarity. Mr. Speaker, I wish to acknowledge and commend the government and people of Cuba for the friendship and support to Ghana over the years. I also commend successive governments of Ghana for preserving and strengthening this important bilateral relationship. It is therefore my sincere hope that the ties between our two nations will continue to grow from strength to strength in the years ahead. Mr. Speaker, on behalf of the members of the Ghana-Cuba Friendship Association of Parliament and Ghana at large, I reaffirm our commitment to the values of our friendship, cooperation, and mutual respect that have defined Ghana-Cuba relations for more than 6 decades. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you very much, Hajia. Honourable members, I'm taking one commentary from each side. Yes, Dr. Ayaba.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity. I rise to contribute to the statement ably made by my senior colleague and grandmother, Hajia. on the Ghana.
Honorable
Cuba.
Emmanuel Bejura, why?
Mr. Speaker, I'm really surprised that at my colleague, the honorable member, who just called the honorable member for Pusiga as grandmother. This young lady is being referred to as grandmother. Mr. Speaker, call him to order. He can't call this young lady as grandmother. Are you a grandmother?
Dr.
Mr. Speaker,
Yamba, you are called to order.
Mr. Speaker,
Please.
there's no order here. He's calling me his grandmother. Doesn't mean I'm old enough to be his grandmother. But that is the relationship between me and him that he is using. And there is nothing wrong with that. And I would have been very proud if he had been my grandson. So I'm okay with it.
Doc, let's hear you.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and my senior colleagues for making my grandma very proud of me. Mr. Speaker, I authorize to support this statement because standing here, I'm a product of what was initiated before I was born. Kwame Nkrumah started a relationship with Cuba as part of the South-South collaboration or cooperation. And this was actually strengthened by the late former president, His Excellency Jerry John Rawlings, in the 80s. Jerry John Rawlings saw the need to develop the human capital of this country because that is the real tool to use to develop any state. As a result, a Ghana-Cuba educational cooperation, culture and educational cooperation started, and thousands of us, if you permit me, were sent to Cuba at very tender age to go and study freely in Cuba. What we see today as junior high school in Ghana is a photocopy of what we have in Cuba. The difference is that every school there has dormitories, has beds for everybody, food is free, teaching is free, books are free, recreational activities were free, even though the Cubans were under severe economic sanctions by the United States. They did all they could to ensure that all foreign students, including Ghanaians, receive equal education to their students. We studied in the same schools with them. I was even a university senior prophet in Cuba. And I went to all the international competitions in Cuba in maths, in physics, biology, and the rest, and we competed with them and won awards with them. This shows how countries should deal with each other. So I want to stand here and eulogize our first president, Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, and His Excellency Jerry John Rawlings for ensuring that the collaboration between Ghana and Cuba saw to it that young, deprived Ghanaians were sent to Cuba to tap into the knowledge of the Cuban educational system. Today, as I speak, we have several Cuban trains in Ghana. We have our association that are holding very vital positions in this country. I may be the least among them. This shows what we call good South-South cooperation. So I'll also use this opportunity to call on international forces to stand behind the Cuban people, to defend their sovereignty and live the life and run the governance system they think is good for them.
Dr. Yamba, address me, please.
Mr. Speaker, if Ghana-Cuban collaboration hadn't existed, there would have been a time in Ghana people would have been dying carelessly. I remember in the 1990s when I came home for vacations, there was no single doctor in the northern sector except Cubans. This is why we should eulogize and commend the Cubans for the relationship they have established with Ghana that has brought, at least mitigated the suffering of Ghanaians in the health sector, in the educational sector, in the agri sector, and in the rest. So at this juncture, Mr. Speaker, I thank you very much for the opportunity and thank the maker of the statement, and long live Ghana-Cuban relationship.
Thank you so much. Yes. Let me... Yes, my brother, if you are desirous to speak, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much, Mr. Speaker, for giving me the opportunity. First of all, I want to commend the honorable member for Pusiga for this able and timely statement. Mr. Speaker, the relationship that exists between Ghana and Cuba is one of the perfect examples of South-South cooperation. Usually, this is geared towards knowledge, skills, and resource sharing. One of the benefits of this particular kind of relationship is basically peer learning. Both developing countries at our stages of development faces the same level of problems. So we are able to test solutions across countries and to lesson draw and lesson borrow solutions to be able to move forward. Another benefit of such cooperation and relationship is the fact that it comes with mutual respect. Unlike the kind of relationship that exists between the global North and global South, where the North always think that they are superior in terms of knowledge transfer, in terms of GDP growth, and look down upon developing countries. This doesn't happen in a relationship of this kind. So if you look at the relationship between Ghana and Cuba, it is born out of mutual respect in terms of marshalling resources, the very resources that we have to solve the problems that we face as a country. Last but not the least, it affords us the opportunity to solve collective problems and to marshal one voice at the global level to be able to deal with challenges that face global South economies. So I would like to, in conclusion, thank the Honorable Member of Parliament for Pusiga for making this very important statement, and long live the relationship between Cuba and then Ghana. Thank you so much, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Professor Seidu. Hajia, you want to speak again?
Yes, Mr. Speaker, just 1 minute.
Okay. You are timing yourself 1 minute.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity to add to this very inspiring statement from my honorable senior, Honorable Hajia, the MP for Pusiga. Mr. Speaker, contributors have indicated the benefits of the South-South cooperation as against the North-South and what we saw. And I just want to share this anecdote. Mr. Speaker, on Tuesday, Ghana played England at the World Cup finals, and we drew. It didn't matter how much effort England put into scoring Ghana, but we drew. And we celebrated. And as we celebrated, someone asked me, but you didn't win, why are you celebrating? I said, oh, we just confirmed our independence. We were protecting our independence. Mr. Speaker, that's the relationship, the North-South relationship, vis-a-vis the South-South relationship, which brings mutual benefit. For some of us, growing up as little girls, the first set of doctors that we saw
Thank you. Of course, you timed yourself. You said 1 minute, and the time gave you 3 minutes, so it's okay. So, honorable members, leadership, you want to say something? Very well. So, honorable members, we bring statement time to a close. We thank the makers of statement and all the contributors. We will now revert to leadership for any indication.
Mr. Speaker, being the available leader for today, I think we have done enough as stated in our order paper, and I want to move that we adjourn sitting today to Tuesday, 12 o'clock or 12 noon. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable
Speaker, I was hoping that the available leader would consult. You should understand that when you sit in the front, one of the things you need to know is to consult. In this 24-hour economy period, where 133 has become 111, we would have thought that they will come to this house as a serious majority. Speaker, they always come with no business. And you're asking us to adjourn. Well, I would take the opportunity to go back to my constituency and go and visit my flood victims. So we would indulge you. Speaker would indulge them. So we have no opposition to their prayer.
Honorable members, the motion for adjournment has been moved and same has been seconded. The question is, as many as are in favor of the motion for adjournment, say aye. All those against, say no. Honorable members, it's obvious the ayes have it. The motion for adjournment is carried. And now the House is accordingly adjourned to Tuesday, the 7th of July, 2026 at 12 noon. 12 noon. The House stands adjourned.